Why did they despise me? All I ever wanted was to help them. I gave them my empathy, and they gave me their contempt.
We see Jeremiah Arkham, the director of Arkham Asylum, witnessing its destruction. He goes inside to investigate, telling himself he should simply run away before encountering any of the inmates. But that's when he sees one of the destroyed rooms and begins to remember his past in the asylum.
Dumpler!
The room belonged to a man named Humphrey Dumpler, who had brutally killed his abusive grandmother.
Sorry, sir. No harm intended.
As he remembers his past, he goes further into the asylum and finds Victor Zsasz, a psychopath who carves scars into his body after each murder he commits. When Victor sees him, he tells the doctor that after killing him, he will carve a scar on a special place on his body.
Right here. So every time I blink, I'll be reminded of what an irritating little man you were.
Jeremiah keeps walking as the prisoners around him taunt him, screaming that they can sense his fear. While Jeremiah admits that because of Arkham, he's been dancing on the edge of madness. He goes down the stairs to a place called the Hole, where the most dangerous inmates are kept. Jeremiah explains that only he has access to talk with these unique individuals, and that's when we see an inmate named Alessio Morandi. He tells us that Alessio was born into a wealthy family and that his mother was a patron of the arts who had a collection of beautiful masks.
All that mattered to Alessio's mother was physical perfection. Her son knew that he was inadequate, unworthy of her attention. Who can say what possessed him to do what he did?
Alessio then took his mother's favorite mask and using adhesive glued it to his face. He went into her room and his mother started laughing while his father got furious. So he grabbed the mask and...
His repentant father hired the world's finest plastic surgeons to restore Alessio's face. But no amount of skin grafts could ever undo the damage.
After the incident, the kid's facial muscles were unable to convey any expression. So after coming to Arkham, Jeremiah suggested that he should use his face as a canvas to express himself. He then visits Mirror Man, a man so obsessed with himself that he can't stop admiring his own reflection. Jeremiah explains that little is known about Mirror Man's past, but notes his distinctly unique appearance. Nearby in another room resides the complete opposite of Mirror Man. A woman called the Hamburger Lady, a woman whose face is so grotesque that it's said to drive people insane just by looking at her. Jeremiah tried to heal her by persuading her that true beauty is in the eye of the beholder. However, when the woman asks him why he doesn't look at her when the light is on, Jeremiah tells us that.
She had a point, of course. And so I finally decided to practice what I preach.
He screws in a light bulb and turns on the light.
Then she lifted her head, and her hair fell away from her ravaged features. As I gazed upon that dreadful face, I felt as if the scales had fallen from my eyes. It was a revelation that would change my life forever.
Jeremiah returns to his office and discovers a message left behind by an unknown intruder. As he opens his cabinet, he finds a blueprint created by his late uncle, Amadeus Arkham, the architect behind Arkham Asylum. The blueprint reveals plans for a new asylum, and Jeremiah, deeply moved, vows to fulfill his uncle's vision and bring it to life.
Then just as I found my true purpose and was resolved to fulfill my uncle's dream, I was betrayed. I have no memory of what happened in the next few weeks. I only recall finding myself wandering the streets.
And that's when we learn that during Jeremiah's absence, the Joker managed to poison Arkham's asylum, forcing the removal of all inmates to prevent contamination.
And worse, Arkham itself had been destroyed, blown apart by a massive explosion.
After the explosion, Jeremiah rushed into the asylum to retrieve his uncle's drawings. He then ran to the Hole only to realize that the inmates, whom he affectionately calls his children, were all gone. Just then, Myrna, the Hamburger Lady, responded to him. Shortly after, he found Mirror Man gazing at his reflection in a shattered mirror, and Alessio also emerged.
It was dark. We thought you had abandoned us.
My poor Alessio, I will never abandon you.
He then tells Myrna to uncover her face since she's among friends, and they all freeze for a moment staring at her.
They barely flinched at what was revealed. Like me, The sight of her failed to drive them mad.
Finally, Jeremiah starts helping others. And in the end, he tells us that because of them, he wants to rebuild Arkham as a true asylum and make it the heart and soul of Gotham.